All right, well, we're going to do this video in two parts, okay? I mean, it's all going to be one video, but for the yelling and the screaming part and all, or whatever, hearing me get mad, whatever, that'll be the second half of the video. First half of the video, congratulations to all the LSU fans. Clearly a way better team than Georgia. Not even close. Your offense, even better than I thought it was, which, you know, I gave your offense plenty of credit during the week. But it's even better than I thought. Watching Georgia's defense trying to figure out which of your 5 or 6 NFL offensive players was going to get the ball in any given play was giving me a headache. I can just imagine how hard it is to actually try to defend that. So your offense, Joe Burrow, Heisman winner. I mean, I've been saying that for about a month now. Anyway, but if there was anybody that had any doubt left about that, Joe Burrow is your Heisman winner without question. So LSU offense, every bit as good as advertised, and in my opinion, better than I even thought they were. Played almost a flawless game. LSU's defense, better than I thought they were. I think it's a little bit hard to judge LSU's defense off of this game, which I'll talk more about that in the second half of this video, the yelling and screaming part. But obviously LSU's defense played well, holding Georgia to just 10 points. This was never a contest. From the opening possession when Georgia missed the wide open touchdown pass on literally the first play of the game, I said, well, you know, here we go. I've seen this all season with this offense. And for Georgia to have any chance to win this game, they were going to have to hit on all those misses that they missed on in every single game this season. I don't know how many of you LSU fans watched very many Georgia games this year, but, you know, we won all our games 20-17, 21-0, 24-17, you know, stuff like that. And it was just the defense playing great, the offense looking like crap, but getting lucky and scoring 1 or 2 touchdowns and a few field goals, missing touchdown passes all year long. And you know, for Georgia to have a chance in this game to keep pace with LSU's offense, they were going to have to hit all of those things that they had been missing in all the other games, which was already a long shot. And obviously it didn't happen. You just look at the first couple of drives of this game, the blown, 2 blown touchdown passes on the first two or three plays of the game for Georgia. One hit the receiver in the hands and he dropped it. The other one, Fromm threw a terrible pass, which was foreshadowing for the rest of the game in Fromm's case. Jesus, he's terrible. More on that in the yelling part of the video later. Then LSU gets the ball, right? We punt or whatever it was. LSU gets the ball. Burrow throws the pass. It's batted down by our defensive lineman. Joe Burrow catches it and runs for 25 yards. And then the play in the third quarter when the game was still, you know, I don't think Georgia was ever going to come back and win. Their offense is just too bad. But the game was still within reach there in the third quarter. And we had a 3rd and 10 backed up to your own, I think, 15-yard line. And Joe Burrow made like 4 Georgia defenders miss and ran around like a chicken with his head cut off in the backfield for 15 seconds. And then he ended up hitting like a, it was a 71-yard pass all the way down to like the 10-yard line. And I said, well, this, you know, it's just over. Again, congratulations to the LSU fans. You guys have a hell of a team. I'm an SEC homer, so I'll be pulling for you guys the rest of the way. Somebody was asking me during the live stream a few minutes ago before I ended it if I thought LSU was the best team. Definitely the best team we've played. I still think Ohio State has looked a little bit better over the course of the season. So if I'm just being honest and I was going to put, you know, I had to put my last dollar on somebody to win it all right now, it would probably still be Ohio State. But I'll be pulling for LSU. I'm an SEC homer. We'll see. You guys will probably go to number 1 would be my guess, and I think you would deserve it. Unless for some reason Ohio State comes out tonight and wins like 50-0 or something over Wisconsin, which is probably not going to happen. I think LSU will probably end up number 1 tomorrow when the playoff rankings come out, which will put you against probably Oklahoma in round 1, which will be an interesting game. I think you're clearly better than Oklahoma, so you'll probably win that game if that's the match. Anyway, we got 30 days to talk about playoff matchups. Shout out to the Corn Dogs, all the LSU fans. Congratulations, you guys are SEC champions 2019. It's been a while for you guys, so enjoy it. Take it from me. it may not come back around, very often. It seems like I wait forever to win one of those things. But again, y'all were the way better team. Congratulations, no excuses here. Congratulations, Heisman winner Joe Burrow. All your wide receivers, is amazing. Shout out, congratulations LSU. Now go win the national title. All right, now I'm the yelling part of the video here. I've seen everything I need to see from Jake Fromm. I don't need to see anything else from him. The guy's an absolute trash can. He's not any good. In my opinion, he's probably the worst starting quarterback in the SEC. I would take any of Alabama's 3 quarterbacks over Jake Fromm. I would take Felipe Franks or Kyle Trask over Jake Fromm. I would take Ryan Hilinski or Jake Bentley from South Carolina over Jake Fromm. I would take Bo Nix at Auburn over Jake Fromm. I would take Kellen Mond from Texas A&M over Jake Fromm. I would take Jarrett Garantano or Brian Maurer, or whatever his name is, at Tennessee, over Jake Fromm. I would take Kelly Bryant at Missouri over Jake Fromm. I would take John Rice Plumlee at Ole Miss over Jake Fromm. Arkansas and Mississippi State, that would be close. I don't know. I've just seen enough from Jake Fromm. Listen, here's what Jake Fromm is. And if there's anybody that doesn't see this now, then there literally is no hope for you. And there's nothing I can tell you. There's nothing anyone can tell you. There's nothing you can be shown to change your mind. If you don't know these things by now that I'm about to tell you, then you just don't want to know them. You're either truly football ignorant or you're being willfully stupid and you just refuse to accept the obvious. But these are the facts, okay? These are just the cold hard facts. Jake Fromm does not have the ability to make anyone else around him any better. He doesn't. Jake Fromm needs people around him to make him better. Period. His best year was 2017 when we had a loaded offense. 2 first-round NFL running backs, multiple NFL wide receivers at both wide receiver positions and the slot position, elite tight ends, a great offensive line. Fromm had his best year. Fromm was not making any of those people better. All of those people were making him better. 2018, not quite as good as 2017, but basically about the same, with about the same type of offense. A roster full of a bunch of pretty good receivers, average to okay receivers. Only one of them, Miko Hardman, is really doing anything in the NFL. Some decent tight ends, good offensive line, 2,000-yard running backs, and you saw what you got from Fromm. This year, when the offense overall not quite as good, you see what Fromm is left with. He can't elevate the play of anyone around him. He's not a game changer. He's not a playmaker. Okay? He needs elite players around him at all positions to be successful. Jake Fromm is just good enough to where if you put him on a loaded team, he won't lose the game for you. That's all he is. That's literally it. If you put him on a Pro Bowl team, he won't lose the game. He won't commit a bunch of turnovers or throw a bunch of interceptions if you put him on a loaded team. He cannot make anybody else around him any better. He can't win a game when other things aren't working. If the run game, if Georgia lines up and runs it up the middle, and we don't get 5 or 6 yards a pop, all we get is 1 or 2, we're going to lose because Jake Fromm cannot pick up the slack. He just can't. He doesn't have the arm to do it. He doesn't have the mind to do it. He's smart pre-snap, but once the ball is snapped, he has no idea what he's doing. He's completely immobile. How many first downs did LSU get today on 3rd down where we got pressure on Burrow, but he was able to escape, scramble, run, and pick up a first down? How many times did that happen? 10? 12? Fromm can't do that. He is the least, forget dual threat. Joe Burrow's not a dual threat quarterback. So this isn't a thing where I'm trying to say you have to have a dual threat quarterback. Joe Burrow's not dual threat, but he's mobile. He's athletic. He can escape a pass rush. Fromm has cement feet. The dude cannot move at all. All of those plays today where Joe Burrow was under pressure and spun out of the way, eluded a pass rusher and ran for 8 or 9 yards on it if it was 3rd and 7, or ran for 12 yards if it was 3rd or 10. Every one of those plays that Burrow's made that resulted in a first down for LSU would have been a 15-yard sack for Georgia. That's just what Fromm is. Do we have a roster full of super elite junior and senior NFL wide receivers? No. Breaking news, though. This is college football. You only have players for 3 or 4 years at a time. You're never going to have a roster where every single player on your offense is a senior and headed to the NFL the following year. That's just never going to happen. You have to have a few playmakers at key positions, and then you have to have players around them that can fill it in. And right now, Fromm, as the third-year starter, quarterback, leader of this team, is not able to do that. He's not able to do it. He doesn't have an NFL arm. You saw it over and over again today. The second interception, both interceptions he threw were his fault. But the one that he threw on the little out route there, he can't get enough on the ball. So any elite level corner is going to jump that route. He doesn't have the arm strength. So he's not mobile. He doesn't have the arm strength. He's only 6'1". How many balls we see get batted down today? It is what it is. Now, all that aside, I don't blame Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm is doing what he can do. That's what you saw today. That's who Jake Fromm is. I don't think he necessarily had a bad game or whatever. That's who he is. When we can't run the ball and he's under pressure like that, there's nothing he can do. He doesn't have the athletic ability to escape. That's not his fault. You either have that or you don't. He doesn't have an NFL arm to fit the ball in tight windows. That's not his fault. You either have that or you don't. Okay, he doesn't have it. It's not he's 6'1". That's not his fault. He didn't choose to be 6'1". So none of these shortcomings are his fault. It's not like he doesn't try hard enough or whatever. He just doesn't have it. So that's not, all of those things are not his fault. It's Kirbys' fault. Kirby makes $7 million a year. He needs to be sat down by somebody and forced to answer the tough questions about some decisions that he made. Because I'm here to tell you right now, whether you believe this or not, I'm here to tell you that here's more facts for you. Jake Fromm did not beat out Jacob Eason. Jake Fromm did not beat out Justin Fields. Jake Fromm was chosen to be the starting quarterback over Jacob Eason. He was chosen over Justin Fields. He didn't beat those players out, okay? Now, you can argue till the cows come home about him and Eason and who does this better or that better and what would Eason done at Georgia the last 2 years compared to what Fromm did and on and on and on. And we can have those conversations from now till the cows come home. And if you want to, I'm willing to do it. There is no doubt or debate when it comes to Justin Fields. He is 100%, without question, light years ahead of anything Jake Fromm will ever be as a quarterback. Period. And Justin Fields was that the moment he stepped on campus at the University of Georgia. Okay? So what we are seeing here is the absolute worst case scenario for me and every other Georgia fan. Not that we lost, not even that we got blown out, but that we lost, we got blown out in a game where Jake Fromm played absolutely terrible. I didn't look up his final numbers because I didn't want to make myself sick. He had to be under 50%, though. Some people are going to say something about the fourth quarter. He got a lot of yards in the fourth quarter against LSU's prevent defense. Please don't be one of those people that shows up telling me that somehow something he did in the fourth quarter. Did you not watch the first 2 quarters of the game, the first 3 quarters of the game? He was terrible today, okay? So we lost, we got blown out. Great. He played terrible. He played awful. He played awful in the South Carolina game. 4 turnovers Fromm had in the South Carolina game. We gave up 1 touchdown in the South Carolina game on defense. 1, and lost. You know how hard that is to do? He lost the South Carolina game. He lost this LSU game. And now we have to sit here and watch Ohio State led by Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback Justin Fields, beat the ever-loving dog shit out of Wisconsin and punched their ticket to the college football playoff while winning a conference championship tonight. That's the worst case. That's what makes this bad. Not that we lost. LSU was a hell of a team. A great and amazing team. There's no shame in losing to LSU. But Fromm played terrible, and this is the worst case scenario because there's already comparisons. I make them, you make them, we all make them. It can't be helped. You can't sign the highest rated player you've ever signed in history, like we did with Justin Fields. Misuse him criminally last year. Have him transfer, put up ridiculous numbers, be a Heisman Trophy candidate on an undefeated team that's about to win their conference and punch their ticket to the playoff, while we watch our own quarterback that supposedly beat him out shit the bed on national television and not wonder and scratch our head and say, what the hell happened here? So Kirby Smart, you are responsible for what has happened with the Georgia quarterback situation, sir. You. And some questions need to be answered. It's getting harder and harder for me to deny or make excuses or whatever, or try to defend the attack that you get, sir, about the good old boy system. And Fromm's from South Georgia. You're from South Georgia. Y'all hunt and fish. Y'all are buddies. Y'all are boys. It's getting hard to defend that. And you don't make it any easier on yourself, sir, when instead of going out and hiring a real offensive coordinator in the offseason, you promote a do-boy that you've been best friends with since 2002 to your offensive coordinator. A guy who had no business getting the job. You could have gone out and hired any offensive coordinator you wanted to, Kirby. You could have sat Justin Fields down and told him, listen, we're going to go out and get an offensive coordinator who has a proven track record of working with dual-threat quarterbacks. Stay. And then you could have actually went out and done that. But you didn't do that. You ran Fields off after you criminally misused him last year. You tried to fit a square peg in a round hole. Square peg is going to the Heisman ceremony next week from Columbus, Ohio, okay? Instead of doing that, you promoted a coffee boy, James Coley, a buddy, one of your boys, who you've been best friends with since the early 2000s. And the result is the most talented offense in Georgia history. Just win an entire season averaging about 24 points a game. You got absolutely embarrassed in front of God and everyone else on national television in this SEC championship game. Embarrassed. That offense looks sad. Vanderbilt fans are looking around wondering how they lost to UGA this year. Okay? Kentucky fans are sitting around wondering how they lost to this team. Never mind Auburn and Florida and everyone else. Those teams are getting better, Kirby. Those teams are playing modern day offense, Kirby. You are not. You're not. And the bad news is, people keep saying, is Jake Fromm going to come back next year? Where would he go? No one's drafting that. Yes, he's coming back next year. So what then? It's time for some serious come to Jesus meetings for fans and for coaching staff at the University of Georgia. The excuses need to stop. What Kirby did, the decisions that Kirby made, because I'm going to repeat this again for those of you in the back. Jake Fromm did not beat out Jacob Eason for the starting quarterback job. Jacob Eason won the starting quarterback job when both those players were healthy in the offseason heading into 2017. Eason got hurt. In game one, Fromm stepped in. That was all she wrote for Eason. When they were both healthy in the preseason, Eason beat him out and won the job. He never beat out Eason. He never beat out Justin Fields. Justin Fields was sitting the game 2 or 3 times a game last year to run quarterback draws. It was criminal misuse, what you did. So, yes, Fromm will be back next year. You've got a short window of time here, Kirby, to make up your mind what you want to do offensively with this team. But if you put this same offensive product on the field next year that you put on the field this year, Uncle Lou not going to be so friendly. Okay? Understood?